We're here at Nick's Gym in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. I'm here with Daragh Crowley. He's from, where are you from? Thai Body Works, is that what it is?
Thai Style School of Bodywork. Cool. Just to have a nice long name.
Nice. So we just did a little work on each other. So did a little manual therapy on Daragh, and you just worked me over pretty nicely with some Thai Style Bodywork, and I feel phenomenal right now. So Daragh, why don't you just give your story a little bit, like what you do, where you're from. Kind of, you said you have a Ashtanga practice, which cool movement practice. Explain maybe the difference between Ashtanga and some of the traditional or contemporary yoga that you're seeing around here, and then also just about the body work that you do.
Cool, thank you. The Ashtanga practice that I do is now my sort of core or primary movement practice, and it's about a lot more than simply movement, but looking at it from just a movement perspective, it is a very structured, set, sequenced, and progressive system that the way that it's traditionally taught, and I've learned it, and the way that I practice it is that you learn it step by step in order, and so as you go through the sequence and you find yourself in a place or at a posture that you are stuck and can't do, you just stay with that. You don't modify or skip over it, as the work that influences your ability to do that comes from all of the postures and movements that appear prior to that in the sequence. So personally, I find it a really intelligent way to learn kind of anything movement related, that there are steps. You begin at the beginning slowly and you build, and as you build conditioning and more intelligence in your body, more strength, that then things start to happen, but that it's not going from 0 to 60 or being in a big group of people that are all at sort of different points and places and skill levels and abilities and conditioning, and they're all sort of either dumbing things down so that everybody can do everything, or challenging the more advanced people and maybe over challenging or leaving behind the people that aren't quite ready for that. So for me, the traditional method of teaching and learning Ashtanga yoga, the Mysore style method, has been profound and continues to be. I've done yoga for about 14 or 15 years, but the Ashtanga method for about really focused into that more for the last 8 or so. And all of those things coupled with my background originally in my 20s as a personal trainer, then getting into yoga, meditation, studying Western massage, have all sort of come together to influence the body work that I do now. And I think, like all of those things, and like the work Chris does, that without trying to brand it or give it a special name or say that I've invented something, because I don't think I have. I'm evolving as a practitioner, as a student, and every time I get to interact with somebody like Chris or my mentor, who is Mitchell Gold, he's an advanced Ashtanga practitioner and an advanced Rolfer, and he sort of imparted to me that you're the sum total of your experiences up to now, and let those infuse into what you're doing. It doesn't mean that you have to chop it up and that you're doing Thai body work with all these 17 different things, but don't be restricted by it has to be this way. That once you have the tools, once you've kind of filled your toolkit up, they then start to allow those things to be there, that you're aware that you have them, and look at the client, assess them, try to understand from what they tell you and from what I can observe and palpate on their body, that maybe you just need a relaxing Thai session. Maybe that's what's happening and that's what you need, or maybe we're going to do some more focused work to create more awareness in a part of the body, or to create more mobility. It's different every time, and every time I do that, as I'm sure with you that sometimes things work the way you think that they will, or you expect them to, and then other times they don't. And so you can ignore that, or you can, I like to now feel that I kind of have the freedom to go like, okay, cool, that didn't work, so let's try to understand better what's going on, and come from a different place. That maybe something appears to be happening in the shoulder, but maybe really there's more something happening down lower around the ribs or in the hip, or who knows. And just be open to, when I work with clients now, being open to the possibility to discover something new, a new approach, to learn each time from what I'm doing. And so my work now, the traditional Northern Thai style of body work, you work on a floor mat, you're using your elbows, forearms, some hands, but it tends to move away from the hands when you get into the more what they call advanced work, and in town they call medical massage, so that it's more elbow, forearm, knees, feet, and the ability to use my body in that way with working with people, and use my body weight as a tool. The floor mat and being in that position really makes a lot of sense to me physically, and it allows me to work with the client the way that I want to. It also makes it very easy to manipulate the client, have them move into different positions because they're on this, comfortable, expansive thing versus being on a table, which I think is really appropriate for other types of work.
Sure. And one of the things I'll say, and just having you work on me, is one of the things I found unique, but also, you don't realize, like, when you're on a table, even in a bed, how little you're actually able to fully expand and really just open things up. Just being on a vast mat and a vast space, you can open up into posture, and Daragh put me into a lot of positions of just really opening up, or positions of restriction, and worked on me in those positions, and was able to use his body weight in just ways that when he's doing it, it makes a lot of sense. But you think like this should be done, or this is something that really just adds to a movement practice. So it was a really unique experience in a very positive way. And one of the things that I have several movement practices. One of the things I do routinely is CrossFit, and I'm training my body and kind of breaking it down in order to get it stronger, doing a lot of overhead work, doing a lot of stuff where I have to open my hips, and he put me in those positions that I'm restricted, and then did some of the work there, which I think was really important, got me to be an active participant in the practice. So it really worked nicely with what I felt like my body needed, and didn't even really realize maybe my body needed until he kind of put me into some of those positions. So that, like you said, just kind of being on the ground there, it makes sense with your body, and then it ties into your movement practice also of Ashtanga yoga. I mean, you got to be pretty mobile to do what you were just doing there, getting in those positions. And I always tell patients or clients that manual therapy is a movement practice in itself. So if you're a good manual therapist, the better you get and the more experience you get at manual therapy, your body starts to take on different movements, different positions, to be able to be a conduit of force that's necessary. And if you're not comfortable in the position you're in, you're not going to be very good and controlled, and not going to be able to sense and assess.
Channel.
Exactly. You really channel that energy or the force or whatever you're trying to create. And then the other thing I just want to speak about that you mentioned is that, manual therapy, any type of movement, practice, body work, it should not be just cookie cutter protocol stuff that I'm doing this with every person. There's if you're not assessing, you're just guessing type of thing. Like, so you got to really make sure that the people that you're working with, that is the practice for them. And it's not the same as the practice for somebody else.
Yeah.
And definitely can feel that, it was unique to my body the way you worked on me, and that was very much appreciated. So, all good stuff.
Cool.
Anything else you want to add to where are you located now?
So I'm pretty mobile. I do work downtown in Center City, and am going to be doing some work with Nick's Gym out here in Bryn Mawr. And other than that, I'm pretty mobile to visit clients at their homes or other training studios. Just sort of, wherever we need to be.
Where can we find you online or?
ThaiStyleSchool.com and Thai Style. I'm gonna screw this up. It's either Thai Style School or Thai Style Bodywork on Facebook, but ThaiStyleSchool.com will get you to us.
Cool. I'll put a link up for that so people can go right to our site. All right. It's great meeting you, and hopefully check this guy out. He's for real. All right. See you next time.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep.